Okay guys, it's day 15. What I'm going to work on now is getting these shoulder joints properly attached. And it is starting to come together, so I think we're going to do it in time, but we're going to have to work pretty damn hard and pretty damn quick. Okay, that's looking pretty good. It's nice to have these attached properly in place, and it just gives us a better idea of how the whole body is going to work in terms of having the like arms coming off it. So the next step really is to think about the actual arms themselves. So I have these parts. It would be ideal if I had enough of these longer ones, but I've only actually got 4, well 5, but one's pretty much falling apart. So only have 4 usable ones, which means I'm going to need to use these as well. So the arms, I'm thinking of having these as like the core part. So these are what gives us like the general shape, but then I can bulk them out and make them a bit thicker by adding other metal onto them and around. So the question is working out basically these limb positions. I think what I'm going to do is just make general shapes. Actually, no, do you know what? Really, I think to do this properly, I need to take the actual sort of display piece that we're going to use and then try and get it situated on that so that we can choose the right angles. Actually, I take it back again. What we're going to do first, before we decide the angles, we actually just need to get these parts cleaned up and then fitted so that they have like a weldable metal scaffolding around them, the usual when we're using non-weldable parts. My slight fear is that I'm fairly sure these might be like big batteries based on the positive and negative terminals on one end. So I really obviously don't want to weld a current through these. I think there is some chance of them exploding, but I guess that's just going to be something that we find out. So wish me luck. If it does go terribly wrong, then please someone edit this video and upload it, because I think that would probably do really well. But in the meantime, we're going to get these cleaned up because they're covered in like some sort of vague filth. So these parts actually come from some of the circuit boards that I got when I went to visit N2S and all the stuff that they gave me. Now, underneath this like plastic coating, this still isn't weldable metal, but it is silver. So I kind of need to decide whether or not I want to take the outer casing off. I do think that the blue would look cool, but only if it's a bit more subtle, which is why I think I'll have to coat it in some sort of metal just to make it like shine through a little bit and give an indication of color, rather than being suddenly this piece is bright blue and it doesn't really make sense with the rest of it. I'm also going to be taking these parts off the circuit board because I think these would be really good as the sort of wrist for where the hands can attach at the end of the section. So it also would help to just make these a little bit longer, as these are shorter than I would ideally like, but they're absolutely filthy, so I need to give them a good clean first. Right, well, they're nice and clean. I'm not. Okay, there we go. We've got that all sort of neatened up a little bit. So I think this would be good to have at sort of the start and the end. This also is good because I want to fix the terminals to something that's not metal. So when I'm running current through it, it's not going to all explode. So I think what we'll do is we'll take this and then probably one of these. And that way I can just weld the entire system together. I think we're going to go do that now. I've got to take a few more of these apart just so I've got enough, but I won't show you that. They'll be done in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! I've also found something pretty cool about these. Turns out they're very much magnetic, which makes my life slightly easier. I don't think I'll want to attach them at that angle, but it will still be just quite useful. It will make attaching everything a bit easier. Okay, well, here goes nothing. Let's hope it doesn't explode. So first I'm going to actually glue these in place, and then in fact, I'm going to start off with these, I think. So now I'll be able to weld through this channel all the way up to there, and then here, pinning it all in place. Kind of looks like I'm building a pipe bomb, if I'm totally honest. Oh my God, I've just realized I've glued it completely wrong. Ugh, I meant to do it that way around. That's really annoying. So now we have the super glue marks on there. Okay, let's do that again. Right, that's actually connected properly this time. So now we're just gonna weld these to hold everything in place. Hopefully, when I go to do this, nothing blows up. But let's find out. Ooh, the argon is not turned on. So here you can see what happens when there's no argon. It's basically super brittle because it's reacting with everything that's in the air at the moment. Let's turn that back on. Okay, electrodes on. Let's see if we can get a good weld this time. Yeah, that's way better. Interestingly, these don't seem to be the happiest of metals to weld to each other, but this is just very basic strength work at the moment, really. So now I'm going to chop that off. Oh, just hopefully this is long enough to repeat on the other side. Yes, it is. Oh, okay. Doing that is completely ruined the welding here. I have a bad feeling that this metal isn't going to be weldable properly. Okay, that's better. That feels actually fixed in place. Well, it's definitely not welding as nicely as it does down there, that's for sure. So not 100% sure why that is, that this isn't wanting to weld properly, but let's see, did it actually? Well, it stayed attached that time. Okay, here we have a very basic leg. So I'm gonna go and check, see what that actually looks like on the piece before I actually decide to do anything with it, because if it doesn't look very good, then there's no sense in us doing it like 8 times. Okay, so currently I'm not really sure whether I like this or not. I think I need to see what it's like on a smaller one first though. So I'm gonna do that and then figure out whether or not I hate this entire setup. Okay, I mean, this is what we're working with. Let's go and have a look at them compared to the actual piece. So my idea was to have short ones, then long ones come off the arms, and then long ones. I think it's definitely going to be, I mean, that's too long. That's definitely too long, but let's see what this looks like. Okay, that kind of gives us an idea. I just think that looks too long. I think that really does look too long. Yeah, it's too big. Well, now I kind of don't know what to do. I thought that the legs were going to be just pretty simple in terms of actually building, and I didn't have to do much figuring out for them. Obviously, I don't like these, at least in the current way that I'm trying to use them. So it makes it more difficult because now I've got to like think quite hard and pick some parts, which is not something I was looking forward to doing. So I'm gonna have a look through all of my stuff and see if there's anything better, and also think if there's a way that I could make these work that I'd be happier with. I think I know what I want to do for the legs, so I need to probably get these disassembled. I think what I'm gonna do instead is, I really like these parts here that are sort of fixed onto the top, so I want to use those, and what I'm going to do instead is just basically build it around these. So I'll show you what I mean. If you imagine I have this as the like sort of shoulder, like the top point, and then this as the hand, I'll basically just build a sort of triangle between the two. I'm not explaining this very well at all. Yeah, maybe something like this. Okay, you can't see that at all. So if you imagine, it's just something like that, and then I'll obviously flesh that out so that it's an actual structure in between two. But this way I can like choose the length exactly how much I want it, figure out all the angles, and it should be a pretty like strong and sturdy way to do it. Obviously with 4 legs and needing 2 of these for each one, I would need 8. I don't have 8, I have 6. Luckily, I do have 2 that are in a slightly different style, which means they won't all look identical, but it should be fine. Anyway, in the meantime, I don't want to get started on that quite now. So instead, I've got the head, which I want to work on a little bit. So you can see that this is obviously a new part, and it's not actually attached, it's just sellotaped in there. But this is going to be kind of how I'm going to build up the crest a little bit, and then it's really good because this is nice weldable metal which will weld nicely onto here, and then this will be able to weld directly onto the body. Oh god, this is just getting heavier and heavier. Okay, but yeah, so I'll be able to weld that nicely onto there. Ignore how much it's shaking. I'm struggling to hold this up right now. Okay, yeah, so it'll be like that. God. Pretty good, pretty strong. Obviously we need a lot more in terms of connection though. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got. So the head's not actually attached, but the cool thing is that we have this sort of hook, which hooks directly in. And then on this part, there's loads of holes. So actually this nail is just propped up against there, but it means that we can get a really good look at how the head might be attached. I mean, it will basically be pretty similar to this, just obviously welded and stronger, but I'm pretty happy with how that is looking. Yeah, no, that is really cool. And I think that will definitely help me to better visualize the legs and all of that stuff. We are getting there finally. Yeah, really happy with that. Something else that I want to do is take some of the parts off here because I think they'll actually be useful for the piece. Obviously this is just a stand, so it kind of would be a bit of a waste to leave really cool parts like this on it when I want the Chameleon to be the focus rather than the stand. And something like this could be really great in a future piece. There were two of these, there's one on this side, I've already taken it off. I think I'm probably gonna use it actually on the Chameleon. Obviously don't want to damage the structure too much, so gotta be more careful doing this than I would probably normally be. Right. I still haven't figured out a way to actually cut this, but I really want to use this on the Chameleon. I mean, that is just absolutely incredible. Okay, I'm probably gonna need to order a really good angle grinder to arrive in the next couple of days. Got another one on this side as well. There's other small things that I'd like to take off like this, but that's not a massive priority right now. I just wanted to get off the stuff that I thought I might actually use. Okay, so, oh, well, that answers the question I was just about to say, which is where is this gone? So yeah, I think the idea for this is it will be like a good way to bridge this sort of gap. And I'll have two of them so I can have one on each side. Obviously, it's not going to fit very nicely until I actually weld it on, but this will also give me something to sort of flesh out the body. We can build this top area up, build this bottom bit, and that will be a really good bit of like a strong weldable structure throughout the entire section here, which is a bit flimsy at the moment, I think. This gives you a better idea of how it would work. Obviously, that looks really straight and boxy at the moment because you can see the corners, but there'll be metal on top covering it. And also these would be at better angles because at the moment, that's just how they're balanced. That's the idea, just again, build up that structure, add a bit more strength and get some of that great, beautiful colors in there as well. Okay guys, I'm gonna call it a day here, but I'll see you tomorrow for the next day, day 16. I can't believe that it's been so long and also so short, but let me know what you're thinking of the build, any ideas, any comments, just let me know. I'll be answering all of them and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.